Good morning, children. Today we shall continue with the same lesson, that is chapter 7, Need and Classification of Industries. So in the previous class we had discussed the different types of industries, okay, which were classified on the basis of size and raw material. So today we'll take up the factors, okay, we see the factors which are necessary for the establishment of industries. So as you know that most of the industries, they are located close to the raw material producing regions, isn't it? Wherever the raw materials are available, so these industries, they tend to locate near to those regions. So here you can see there are 5 important factors, okay. Number 1 is the raw material, number 2 power, number 3 transport, number 4 labor, and number 5 is your market. So let's see the first one, raw material. So raw material is one of the most important factor, isn't it, which is necessary for the establishment of industry. So like the industry, they tend to locate near to the raw material producing region in order to, for 2 reasons, like number 1 to save time, and number 2 in order to reduce the transport cost. So take the example of the industry that utilizes heavy and bulky raw material, that's iron and steel industry. So most of the iron and steel industries are located close to the raw material producing region. In this case, the transportation cost will also go down, and at the same time they save the time also. And on the other hand, they are perishable commodities. I mean those industry which uses perishable commodity, isn't it, or the raw material. So they also tend to, or they are located near to the raw material producing region, like sugar industry. So as you know, sugar, isn't it, after harvesting within 24 hours, okay, that sucrose has to be extracted, otherwise it will decrease. So most of the sugar mills in our country, they are located near to the raw material producing regions. So number 2, power. So power is another important factor, okay. As you know, nothing can work without power. So there are different sources of power, like you have the solar energy, you have the hydro power, then you have the thermal energy and all. So most of these industries, okay, they get this power supply from the power plant. And this power is required for processing of raw material in the industry. Then number 3, you have transport. So transport is another factor, and like transportation is required for assembling the raw material from the source of raw material to the industry, and secondly to transport the manufactured good from the factory or from the industry to the consuming center, okay. Then next one, number 4, laborers, okay, or the labor. As you know, labor is an active factor of production, in a sense that both skilled and unskilled laborers are required in the production process, okay. So it comprises of the people, those are involved in the manufacturing process as well as in the administration of the industry. So like you know, large scale industries, okay, they employ large number of workers, whereas a small scale industry, they employ only the few workers. And then next one, the 5th one is your market. So market, like access to the market is very important factor for the establishment of industry. Number 1 is that the products will be easier, isn't it, to dispose the product will be easier and faster, and secondly the consumers also will get the the goods easily, and at the same time they get it fast. So therefore the market is another important factor for the establishment of industries. Now let's take the topic industrial pollution. So as you know that industrial development, okay, it has resulted in the increase in the number of factories, industries, and as a result the industrial waste are also increasing. So industries, they dispose the solid waste on the land, liquid waste they discharge into the water bodies, and the gaseous waste they release into the atmosphere. So all these activities, okay, it leads to, or they lead to industrial pollution. So industrial pollution means it's any form of pollution caused by industrial practices. So now let's see what are the causes of industrial pollution. So a few points are here. Number one, lack of policies to control pollution. That means there is no such policies, the concrete policies formulated by the government in order to control the pollution. Then number two, unplanned industrial growth. So without planning, the industries are established. Then number three, use of outdated technologies. So take the example of old and obsolete machineries in the industry. So this use of old machineries, first of all, it creates a lot of noise, isn't it? It leads to noise pollution. Secondly, this noise pollution will affect the labor force, the productivity of the labor force, and as such, what will happen? The production of goods will go down. Then next one, presence of large number of small scale units. So there are so many small scale units, okay, which are established in the village areas because they require less labor. At the same time, the capital investment is also less. So many industries like small scale units are set up. So and these all cause they all lead to the industrial pollution. The next one is inefficient waste disposal. This is one of the major problem of the industry, isn't it? How to dispose the waste. So waste disposal is not efficient. As you know, most of the industries, they dispose the waste, solid waste on the land, liquid, they throw it into the rivers and all, and the air pollution, the gaseous waste, they leave it into the atmosphere. So these all will cause the different types of pollution. Now let us see the types of pollution caused by industries. So there are four types of industrial pollution: air, land, water and noise. So this air pollution is a gaseous waste, or you can say it even includes the microscopic dust particles which are emitted during the production process. And these harmful or the poisonous gases, they are released into the atmosphere, thereby leading to air pollution. Then second one is your land pollution. So land pollution means the disposal of the solid waste, and it is one of the major problem, okay, for the industries, how to dispose the solid waste, because it will degrade the land, isn't it? It will block the drainage system, and it will lead to the spread of diseases and all. So therefore, it's one of the greatest problem of the industry is the disposal of the solid waste. And these industries, okay, they have to dispose this waste in such a way that it will not create any harm to the environment. Then next one is your water pollution. So water pollution is caused when these industries, okay, or the factories, they discharge the effluents or the used water into the rivers or into the water body. So in that case, it will contaminate the groundwater and the surface water, making it unfit for human purpose. At the same time, it is harmful for the aquatic plants and animals. Then the last one is your noise pollution. So noise pollution is caused when the industries, okay, they use old machineries. So when the old machineries are used, it creates a lot of noise, and this will affect the working force. And once they are affected and once they cannot concentrate, okay, they cannot concentrate in the work, it will reduce the productivity of the labor. So these are the four major types of industrial pollution. Now let's see the last topic, that is the prevention of the industrial pollution. So prevention of industrial pollution, it includes any activity, okay, that will minimize, that will avoid, or that will eliminate the generation of pollutant. So here are some of the steps, okay, some of the measures in order to control the industrial pollution. So number one, selection of industry site. So before you set up the industry, okay, all the special features should be properly checked, like topography or climatic conditions. So all these factors you have to analyze beforehand only, that means before we set up the industry. Then number two, plantation, that's afforestation. The green plants, as you know, the trees, they absorb the harmful gases, okay, like it will absorb the harmful gases which are released into the atmosphere. So all the industrial reason, they should have the green zone, okay, or the plantation should be carried out in and around the industrial reason. Then next one, treatment of industrial waste. So as you know, there are different types of industrial waste generated by the industry, isn't it? So all this waste, before they are disposed into the environment, these all waste should be properly treated. Now treated in the sense that all the harmful objects should be removed, or they have to be removed from those waste. Then only we can dispose this waste into the environment. Then next one, a stringent government action, a strict government action. Like in every country, they are the the pollution control board. Okay, they will formulate the set of rules and regulations or the limit for the generation of the waste or the disposal of the waste. And if any industry is found, okay, like violating these rules and laws, they are brought before the government, or a strict action will be taken against them. Then next one, implementation of Environmental Protection Act. Now, what do you mean by Environmental Protection Act? Okay, so it is the Environmental Protection Act 1986 is an act of the Parliament of India. So in the wake of the Bhopal gas tragedy, you know all this, isn't it? The government of India enacted this act under Article 253 of the Constitution. So all the industries should follow this particular Environmental Protection Act.